Okay, so last vid I tried, I think a little too fuzzily, but I tried to explain the four main characters. The first three, Batman, Commissioner Gordon, and Harvey Dent, represent society and what it takes to uphold it. You know their functions if you saw the first vid. Then there's the Joker, who represents the antithesis to society, the stark reality that society is trying to keep everyone else away from. Now, again, what I'm going to do is explain the symbology of the Joker in terms of this movie. I'm not championing him. I'm not trying to make him something he's not. I'm trying to get you guys to see a certain underlying message of the film. And in order to do that, I need to deconstruct what the Joker actually represents. The first obvious thing that people are going to say about the Joker, what he represents, is chaos. Yeah, that's freaking obvious. Anybody with 2 brain cells can at least be able to put that together, you know. That he represents complete chaos. The city represents order, certain laws of the land. The society, basically, the first 3 represent an order, a type of order, their laws, their principles. Joker's there to break it all down, okay? He represents chaos, and he says it himself. Point blank, he says, I'm an agent of chaos. That's what he's there for, which fits with the whole mythos of the Joker, if you've ever read the comics. But what he also represents, besides chaos, because chaos obviously is the opposite of order, what he also represents is an unmasking of the illusions that are needed to keep a society going. Here's one thing that I felt I should have made a video on this a long time ago, but I might as well put it out now in this review. Society needs illusions in order to function. Human beings need illusions in order to work in a society. In fact, I mentioned this before, our minds are illusion machines. It's how we function. Our concepts of time, our concepts of solid objects. I mean, science will tell you that, I'm looking for something here. I got nothing solid. Okay, this knife here. Our senses are telling us that this knife is a solid object, that nothing can go through it. But science has shown that everything are made up of molecules, and between all those molecules is nothing but empty space. But we perceive them as solid. It's a useful illusion for our minds to work with the world we're in. Thank you, Richard Dawkins, for that. Say what you want about him being a little bit of an asshole as far as the, whole religion versus science thing is concerned. And yes, he's turning science into propaganda, but there's a lecture he put out, which I should put a link up to later, where he's kind of discussing how humans evolved in the middle world. It's very interesting to check out. I'm kind of borrowing from him when I'm talking about the theme of how we perceive middle world. That's his term. But I'm just throwing that out there. Our minds are illusion machines, and we need those machines in order to function in the way we do in the world that we've evolved in. The belief of solid objects, the belief that the sun goes around the earth, etc., etc. Those are things that we developed. Why am I bringing this up? Because since our minds are illusion machines and we need those machines in order to function, society itself is a byproduct of the human mind. And society itself runs off rules that we consider to be real and true, but they aren't. And if you sit down and think about our ideals, our principles, what we hold to be sacred and true, if you actually are brave enough, because this does take courage, if you are brave enough to sit and deconstruct them, you begin to realize that every last one of them is simply an illusion. Does that make it bad? Again, I am not talking about good and bad. I'm talking about what is. We need those in order for society to work, no matter what type of society you're trying to run. Even in anarchy, we still need certain principles in order to make it function. Anarchy runs off, for example, the principle that everyone deserves to be free, and that people generally can agree on certain things and still be like, people who are against anarchy believe that human beings are downright rotten and need order to survive. Anarchists believe that human beings can be trustworthy souls who can get along with each other without the need of a ruler. Those are both ideals. Both ideals aren't necessarily true because they aren't prove it. It's just something we thought of and think is true, but they aren't necessarily true. Therefore, it's an illusion. Until you can prove it, it's an illusion. I'm not saying if it's good or bad. What the hell does all I have to do with the movie? All ideals run off a sense of order. Anarchy, believe it or not, is not chaos. It's a different type of order. A freer form of order without a single or group body ruling over them, but it's still a certain type of plan. Because that's what an order is. It is a plan. And what did the Joker say he liked to do about plans? He likes to destroy them. Why? Because he's an agent of chaos. But what he really is the person who unmasks illusions. The illusion of society is that that's what keeps us from being monsters. We need society in order to be humane. If we didn't have society, we become monsters. We become freaks. Like the Joker! This grotesque, scary-looking thing, which, strangely enough, is a clown. A humorous thing, which is still frightening. But there is, to the Joker at least, something funny, ironically funny, about the way human beings conduct their lives. To him, it is all a comedy. Just like other people see the way we function as a type of comedy. The play's the thing, you know? Black humor, that sort of thing. Notice the Joker's obsession with the Batman. He doesn't want the Batman killed. For one thing, I'm not going to the whole "you complete me" thing. That's something else that I'm going to bring in toward the end of this, because I'm already ranting too long. It's taking me a while to try to get out what I'm trying to explain. But notice what he kept on trying to do. This is something that I want you guys to focus on. He's trying to unmask the Batman. It's so big, it's so important to him to unmask this guy. Let me see your face. It was a big crux. Why? Because people like the Joker want to unmask the clandestine. Because by unmasking the clandestine, it gets easier for them to tell the rest of society, you're living a lie. It's all an illusion. Fuck society. The best way to do that is to show the ugly side of it. If you're trying to show how the good side of it is an illusion, people are like, well, who cares? I like it. Yeah, we need these laws. But if you go and show them the ugly side, then people are going to be like, ugh, that's what society is. Maybe I should be a part of it. It's playing with people's emotions, and which is what the Joker is doing. He represents that element in society that always chafes at it and focuses on the parts that people don't want to look at. Because people like the Joker, or that thing that the Joker represents. Because I'm not saying that there's people that insane. I'm just simply talking about the type of people who want to unmask the illusions. And we have them out there. They focus on the illusions, and since they are willing to accept that what we believe is an illusion, which is something that very few human beings can cope with, they are also able to look straight at the ugly side and point it out. Other people don't want to think about the ugly side. But the crazier, the chaotic side does, because they're trying to tear down society, and the easiest way is to show the ugly side of things. That's what he represents, the unmasking of the illusion, the lifting of the veil. But when you do that, what are you left with? Again, I'm not trying to make a morality tale here on what's good or bad. This is just something for you to think about. Because like I said, this is a deep film. This is something that you can talk about for days and days and days. And already I'm toward the end of this vid. Looks like I got to make a third one. Let me get back to what I mean by, though, society and what it takes to uphold it. Obviously, the first three are trying to tear down the Joker because he represents a breakdown of order. They have a plan, an order in effect. And here he comes trying to F it up. Obviously, he's the enemy. He needs to be taken out. And he's trying to show them for what they are, that they're human, just like the rest of us, they're weak and all that. Look at the tactics that he takes in order. Everything, if you notice, some of his biggest plans involved trying to get people at their most basic element. Like, I'm not trying to spoil the movie. I'm trying to keep spoilers out, but remember the scene with the two boats. That is it's interesting what he was trying to show there. And it's also interesting what happened in the two boats. Notice who was the one group, which boat was the ones where the guys actually threw that little detonator away. That's something, that's a discussion in and of itself that I'm not going to touch right now. But notice he's trying to, those little things he's trying to do, throw away the illusion. What I mean by the illusions are our ideals, our principles. They go right out the window at our most basic elements. Like, for example, If I said in the middle of society, you know, there's nothing wrong with eating each other. Oh my God, that's horrible. Now throw these same people in a mountain somewhere where there's no food, no contact, no stuff. Suddenly chowing down on Bob doesn't look like a bad thing. Ideals go right out the window. And the only reason ideals can be thrown away casually like that is because they're illusions. 10 minutes up on this. Time for a third vid. Hopefully the third one won't take that long. I'll try to wrap this up.